Buckle up for another episode of Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch podcast. My name is Richard, and sitting shotgun as always is my brother in podcasting, Reed.
No, I would never.
What?
I've never done it before.
What do you...
I'm pure and good and nice.
Are you trying to say that you're a virgin?
Yeah. Is anything bad happening outside?
Yeah, things aren't great right now.
Get in me.
Let's get into it.
Ghostfacers! We're facing ghosts! We're others, we're not! We're ghosts! Ghostfacers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot! Ghostfacers! We're facing nightmare! We're facing dread! Ghostfacers! We're facing faceless! We're facing dead!
Welcome to Ghostfacers. Today we're discussing Season 3, Episode 12, Jus In Bello.
Yeah, which means Jus In Bello.
Yeah, whenever I see Jensen Ackles, I get Jus In Bello.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jensen is definitely juicing below.
Yeah, he causes me constantly
This
to
is
juice
the
and blow.
least sexy episode we've covered. To start
Yes.
here is so funny.
Yeah, that's the way it belongs. This episode aired February 21st, 2008, written by Sarah Gamble. This is what I said
Love
last
her.
week, right? It's
Love her.
Jeremy Carver, Sarah Gamble, like
Yeah.
those two fucking together. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Directed by Phil Screecha, viewed by an estimated 3.23
Oh, that's a
viewers.
big jump.
Yeah.
Because we were just below 3.
Yeah.
We were edging the mystery spot last week.
Oh, yeah. My guess is that...
And now we're releasing the Jus In Bello. The Jus In Below.
My guess is that the last episode did so well because I mean these numbers really only come from like the initial review. So my guess is people were like, "You got to check out this fucking show."
Yeah,
I always wonder because we got to look
funny
back
when it changes that much. Like you feel like week to week it wouldn't, but you'd see like a general. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
people aren't
like
watching it
20
streaming
million,
either.
like, or not 20 million. Like
You can do the math.
200,000.
Yeah.
More people watched this week because last week's episode was good. That seems crazy.
My only guess is that I mean there is people like on message boards and stuff like that.
I guess that's true.
My guess is that it's a reaction to the previous episode. I'd love to go back and look at the numbers and see if
I'm still just yeah, you're right. There are message boards and stuff like that. I guess for me, I'm just thinking of a pre kind of Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, before it was like you need to get on.
Yeah.
Like now I could kind of see it.
Yeah.
But back then I was having such a hard time with such a huge jump. But that's awesome.
Well, let's find out. Maybe it has something to do with the promos.
Okay.
We get 2 again.
Okay.
Let's see if they're vastly different from each
they
other.
probably aren't.
Yeah,
but
let's see what the differences are though. It's like a
just a
shorter
shorter
version.
one,
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Holy shit, that 1 minute version?
It's so good. I mean,
No wonder.
2 things. One, what does full night event mean?
I assume they mean the episode goes over one night. That's my
Full
guess.
night event.
Like-
Or does that mean
Because it can't be the
They're not
airing
just-
of it.
they're not just
gonna
airing the
over
episode
and
over and over,
No,
right?
my guess is that they're talking about what happens in the episode.
But when you say a full night event,
I know.
it sounds like it's like
we're interviews
for
and
TV.
like yeah.
That's a little weird. But also the like action music in it is like
So 2006.
it's such a like DVD.
What's-
like
what's that-
It's
What's
got
that John Travolta hacker movie?
Like, Swordfish.
Yeah.
It's exactly like Swordfish.
My Paul Oakenfold. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. I was gonna say it's some lighter version of like Queen of the Damned. or
Yeah,
something.
no,
But
no.
yeah, you're right. It's
It's
fucking Swordfish.
It's an Oakenfold.
It's like the fucking Matrix.
Yeah. Look, it works.
It does actually.
Like if I saw that trailer, I'd watch that episode for the first time.
That trailer fucks.
Yeah, I get it. That's how it jumps up. Fuck my message board thing.
Let them in. Fight like hell. Oh yeah.
Finish him.
Also just Henricksen being like, "Sup guys, been a while."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
I mean,
That's the best
we've been
trailer I've seen
watching
so
these
far.
promos, and
Yeah.
mostly it's fine
Yeah.
or it's a spoiler.
Yeah.
That's just good.
That's just, I want to see that. Yeah.
That's the best Supernatural promo we've seen yet.
100%.
Absolutely.
5 out of 5.
Yeah. Episode done.
That trailer's enough to see.
Yeah, we're good.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's great. I love that a lot. Oh my God.
Wow.
All right. Well, speaking of things that I enjoy, international titles.
Ooh.
This is an interesting one, right? Jus In Bello, which is, in French, it's just Jus In Bello.
Well,
Because it's a Latin thing, I guess?
it's Latin. It's the meaning of it is it's like bellum is war.
Yeah.
Like juice is like judiciary.
It's
like
justice in war.
Yeah, it's like the rules of engagement. Essentially would be like the real English translation is like the rules of engagement.
It's fighting well once war has begun. It's the idea.
It's like, like you don't like kill people who are surrendering. It's like all those things we consider to be the laws of war, because war does apparently have laws.
It is very funny though, because the French title is just the Latin title.
Just the Latin,
but which is funny because if you read it in French, it's Jus In Bello.
Except the French can also recognize
I know, but it is very
yeah. They can also recognize when something is in Latin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Was just like,
the word jus is French is juice.
Juice.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, Dean's really going for it.
No wonder those numbers jumped up so much.
We found the mystery spot. Now we're juicing.
So the German title is Martial Law.
Oh, which was like my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite like 90s TV shows. Arsenio Hall and Sammo Hung. It was basically Rush Hour on TV.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, God, I love martial law.
So good. Here's one that just does not go for the same title at all.
All right.
Brazil.
Okay.
This is incredible.
Okay. Is it
they go very literal.
Okay, assault on precinct demon.
More dumb and literal.
Okay, I have no idea.
It's terror at the police station.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's actually less scary.
Yeah.
Than like the rules of engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Hungary.
All right, Hungary.
Hungary brings it.
Yeah.
Hungary brings it so good.
Okay.
Think about the reaction of like what happens to people in this episode.
Right.
Think about the more like esoteric concept of what happens to people in this episode.
Okay, right. So it's like dark enlightenment or some crazy shit.
But also
like
more literal at the same time.
Okay. Oh fuck, demons are real.
Exactly. The episode title is Demons Surely Exist. Fucking love it so much.
I love that you get like almost to the end of season 3 and the episode's like demons surely exist by now.
I love it.
That's really
no
funny.
question mark, no exclamation at all. It's just demons surely exist.
That's wild.
I love it so much.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, good for you getting on. What exactly?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Considering I was just fucking around.
No, you were absolutely right.
That's really funny.
So funny.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, TV Guide describes this episode as this is the episode where, first time I'm saying this, all of our 4 main characters coming together in this.
Yeah,
this
you
season.
definitely didn't say that.
Nope. That's not true because we record these episodes the day before they come out, and we don't do this in advance. So there's no way I could have any confusion because I'm only preparing for these episodes at a time.
Yeah.
Sam and Dean.
Way to peel the curtain back.
What? Sam and Dean are double crossed by Bella, Lauren Cohen.
I would love to be single, double, triple crossed.
I'd be part of a thruple crossing.
Cross me anyway, please.
Strike me, cross me, whatever
Yes.
you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, have me arrested.
Who has them arrested.
Sorry.
But when Agent Henricksen, C. Malik Whitfield, baby,
Oh, yeah.
arrives at the jail to take them, he discovers they've been surrounded by demons intent on killing everyone. Way to fucking let the cat out of the bag.
Oh,
TV guide.
shit. We learned it.
Oh my God.
Oh.
God. See, this show
Turns out it
so much
wasn't a
value.
pig.
Yeah. I mean, it was because the cops.
But they let it out of a... Oh, my God. Get my whiteboard.
The other day I saw a police barbecue, or as I like to call it, pig roast. Oh, so let's talk about today's episode. But before we do,
Oh, boy.
let's open up Dad's journal and learn about some of the real world lore.
Yeah, let's see what the lore says about sieges.
Wow, you sound so confident in this.
Listen.
Are you saying that there's not any specific thing that you could talk about this week, supernatural, that we haven't already
We've done a
trodden?
lore on demons.
Yes.
We've done a lore on possession. We've done a lore on exorcisms.
Uh-oh, I did a lore.
Yeah, I did a lore on the way here.
Yeah. I didn't eat great last night. I did a lore.
Yeah. So and there were a couple of things that we talked about
Yeah.
for lore things that I think were better for future episodes.
Oh my God, he's so good at this. He's got the emotional
And so for the
chip.
benefit of those future episodes, this is the stupid one I'm doing for this episode.
I don't understand. You're totally prepared for this. You were ready to do this.
Yeah, we're talking about sieges.
As welcome.
Sieges. Fuck. This made me so... God damn it. A siege is a type of assault where it's...
It sure is. It's a lot coming
it's-
from one animal.
It's assaulty.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not just because of the ocean.
it's like a very long protracted assault. So you think of like the sort of ancient days or Middle Ages with like walled cities
Sure.
or castles or things like that. Those places had like stores of food and armaments,
Yeah.
and most people would live inside them. And if they lived outside, if they knew like a foreign enemy was coming, they would go inside for protection.
It's part of the reason why you live near a castle is so that
That was part of the
Protection,
deal.
yeah.
And like the feudal thing is like, I'm your liege lord, all of your wealth goes to me, but in exchange,
I
protect you.
Yeah.
It's basically like a mob racket.
Yeah, be ashamed if someone sieged your house.
Yeah. So siege warfare became this thing where it was like, who can outlast?
Yeah.
Do you have enough stores of provisions and that to last? Sometimes sieges went for months and months. Sometimes sieges lasted for years.
I can't even last 3 seconds with this.
Yeah, this siege won't. Your fortifications won't last 40 seconds in this siege.
Click this link.
About to get battering rammed.
Oh yeah.
That's where things like moats and drawbridges come from. It's about like cutting off ways into a castle and trying to wait it out / fight from a distance. So siege warfare became this very sort of like nuanced thing where it was like, okay, now they have a castle and we're on the outside. So then it would be like, we're going to use ladders and towers and things like that to get over the walls. And then the development was, that narrows like the pathways your soldiers could go on, so it's easier for the defenders to fight that way, plus they can shoot down on you.
38.
Yeah that still only counts as one. They would pour like boiling oil on people while they were like trying to climb up the walls and shit like that. You could knock the ladders off and kill people that way. And then it was like, fine, we'll dig under the walls. And so you would start these things like sapping or mining, and they'd go under the walls. And then like the counter to that is they would use like big kind of bellow things to blow smoke into the tunnels and asphyxiate the soldiers in the tunnel. Like brutal warfare. Sometimes you were just, the siege was just like, you can't get out, we're just going to hold you in there. Or sometimes it was like maybe a bit more time sensitive. You were trying to like bust down the things with like catapults and stuff like that. And
You're going to bust. You won't last 3 seconds.
Jesus Christ. So they were like, there's lots of sort of historic long sieges and things like that. If you think in the world of fiction, that's what the assault on Troy is in the Iliad is a siege. Troy is deemed to be impenetrable and unassailable, and the Greek armies can't get through.
Yeah.
That's a siege. That story takes place over the course of months.
Yeah.
And then they finally trick them with the Trojan horse to get past the defenses and take it down from the inside. So that's part of it too, is the sort of espionage thing where it's like, we know you're running out of whatever, we'll allow stuff in, and then you try and sneak a soldier to try and get something in. That became a whole part of siege warfare too. Siege, different versions, because it's modern day and we've got like guns and cell phones and shit, but like siege tactics are essentially like what SWAT teams use, right? Where they're trying to cover entrances and exits to make sure people don't get in and out in not a controlled manner.
Yeah.
It's about trying to separate the people you don't want to get hurt from the like assailants and things like that. Like certain elements of old siege warfare are now present in the strategies of like hostage rescue and things like that. You see like that idea of like what's the first thing they do? They corner off the block, and that is like, now you're stuck in there, and now it's about like, how do you get out?
You don't really hear about hostage stuff very much anymore.
I guess not.
Yeah, I don't remember the last story.
We've also been home for 18 months.
Yeah, I guess. I just I just can't think of like a recent story.
I think the thing is that it rarely happens the way it does in movies.
Yes.
Where it's very protracted.
Yeah.
And they make it.
Yes. Fair.
I think it's like a domestic thing.
Yeah,
it's one person.
Yeah.
It either ends very poorly or it just ends.
But like bank robberies, that kind of stuff, like you just don't hear about that kind of stuff anymore. Like
yeah, exactly.
Weird.
But yeah, so those kind of tactics are still employed. But even in a military perspective, they are in 1990 from April 1992 to February 1996. The city of Sarajevo was under siege by Serbians. It was controlled by the Bosnian government, and Serbians laid siege to it for 4 years.
I think I've seen that movie, Serbia.
What? Oh, no, not the Serbian film. No, we are not talking about a Serbian film. Absolutely not.
What? I'm just talking about a Serbian film.
Absolutely not. Kelly told me about it, and I had nightmares.
Don't Google it.
Oh, God.
Or do.
No,
I don't know. You won't last 10 seconds.
But no, sieges are common throughout history, even in modern day. The siege of Fallujah in Iraq, that's a thing that you probably heard talked about during the Iraq War and stuff like that. But yeah, it ends up becoming, as if you're the defenders, it's not just how long can you last, it's can you find a way out, and that sort of thing. And that's really what it comes down to in this episode too.
Yeah.
Pop culture versions of like Assault on Precinct 13. I made the joke earlier, but like that's a movie basically about this, being locked in a police station, having to defend against sort of hordes of, it's basically a siege.
Gang members, yeah.
Except in this case, the gang is demons.
It's a siege, yeah. I mean, very much so in the movie. The sheriff even says, it's a siege, it's a goddamn siege. Yeah, that movie's from 1976.
Yeah, it's Carpenter.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
For all you blankies out there.
Oh, yeah. I run it through right now.
They must be coming up on
maybe even by the time this episode
could
comes
even
out.
be this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Very, very exciting.
But
yeah.
There you go.
It's also coincidentally the plot of the episode of the movie from 2010. I don't know if you saw this, but Legion?
Oh, like with the angel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That is a police station, and that's Angels.
I think it's a diner, actually.
Or you're right. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Paul Bettany.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Is it?
I loved that movie. I saw it in theaters by myself.
I remember thinking it was dumb, but maybe now that I'm
Yeah.
Like older and into supernatural and stuff like that. Maybe I would dig it more.
I saw it by myself in the middle of the day and I loved it.
It sounds like a movie I'd see in the middle of a day.
Yeah. It was great. I remember just
not giving that the primetime slot.
No, it's great. It's also, the day movies are typically the ones where I'm like, I need everything to keep me awake to watch this movie. That's typically when I watch movies during the day.
Yeah.
It's usually my wife goes, let's watch this movie from any year prior to 1980. And I go, I'm going to need to be during the day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you hit your 30s and it's just like desperately trying to stay awake during movies.
I watched the Snyder Cut yesterday and I started at like 10:30 a.m. because I was like, I got to be awake for this. It's 4 hours.
Yeah, it's you're not getting those back.
No.
All right. Well, with that, why don't we get into today's episode?
Oh, that was a rhetorical question.
No, that's it. That's it for this week.
Yeah, why don't we? Let's come up with the reasons why we shouldn't.
I mean, I could think of lots of other reasons.
I'm going to lay siege to this episode.
Oh, my.
This episode's not coming out.
Oh. You won't last 10 seconds listening to this episode. This episode is...
I feel like the time frame's getting shorter each time you tell that joke.
This is a real spalooja.
Oh, no. Oh, no. The Siege of Spalooja from the Huge Rack War.
That's good.
Oh, no.
Oh, all right. Let's talk about today's episode.
Please.
The then is, you bet it. You bet you know what this one's about.
Oh, God. We can get some great...
Fucking Henricksen, baby.
Oh, yeah. That too. Yeah.
What?
Get some Bella in there
Yes,
too.
yeah. We get some Bella. We get some past sort of just general supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get Henricksen, baby.
Yeah, we get some stuff about the cult. And...
One of my favorite things is when you first watched this show, you kept asking these questions like, well, wouldn't the cops be like on their case from doing all this stuff? And I just kept being like, just wait.
Yeah.
Just the questions you have will be answered.
It's true.
And this is a great example of that.
I know I said it last week.
Yeah.
I think season 3 was really where I was like, no, they did. I can't believe it. Between the Gordon episode, Mystery Spot last week, and this one, there was a lot of like, they did not just fucking do.
Yeah. They brought this guy back. Oh my God, they did the thing. I was like, you were like, this character's great. I hope he comes back. I'm like, just wait.
Yeah.
You're like, but the police, they can't just like let them go. I'm like, just wait.
Ugh.
There's a lot of just wait and some great reveals.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a big one.
Yeah. I mean, it does the things where it's like, yeah, but this would have to happen. And they go, oh, and it does.
Yeah.
Every time that you're like, well, that means this, and you go, don't worry. They're going to handle it.
I'm so excited.
We go to the now. On the trail of Bella to retrieve the stolen Colt. Because at the end of, was it
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, Bella stole the Colt from the safe.
That's the Dream Walker.
That's
episode,
right. Yeah. So
Dream a little dream.
So they got to go after it. Sam and Dean track her to Monument, Colorado, only to find her motel room empty.
Yeah, like they're checking around. There's not a lot in the motel room, and Sam's like, "Are you sure this is her room?" And Dean pulls like 2 wigs out of a drawer, and he's like, "I'm pretty sure."
Yeah,
but the safe is empty. Like nothing is there.
Yeah, and they get a phone call.
Yeah,
answering the room phone, Dean finds Bella on the other line, who says she's 2 states away by now, indicating that she set them up. Moments later, because so basically she goes, they go, we're gonna get you like one way or another, and she's like, oh, don't you think that I thought of that?
Yeah, like I took precautions. Yeah. So you guys are gonna have enough on your hands. And at that moment, the cops bust in.
Yeah, accompanied by
Henricksen. And that's the shot that we get in that promo where he's like,
"Hello, boys."
Yeah, been a while.
Oh, so good. Sam and Dean are taken into custody to the local sheriff's office.
Yeah.
Henderson makes sure that the barely staffed small office is equipped as effectively as possible for the Winchesters. He even like lets out all of the criminals that are being kept.
So I want to talk about this setup a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's things I really like about it.
Yeah.
I think it would be very easy, and they may even have done this in an earlier episode of Supernatural.
Maybe.
Where it would be very easy to treat these small town cops as idiots.
Yeah.
And then Henriksen comes in and be like, I'll show you how to do your job.
Yeah.
But they don't. They show them as fully competent, but small.
Yeah, just
small
like
town, like not a lot of resources, but fully competent. And Henriksen still comes in with that, I'll show you how to do your job energy. And it makes such a good dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
Like it shows Henriksen's desperation in trying to finally pin the Winchesters down, where he's like, I'm not taking any goddamn chances. You're drunk and disorderly, he gets to go free. Like all this stuff. The sheriff's like, you can't just release my prisoners. And he's like, these guys, I've been chasing them forever. They're monsters. You have no idea what you're dealing with. Fucking do this. And he's being really condescending about it, but it sets up like where his character's at. Even later in the episode where he's like on the phone to his superior, and the superior's like, I'm not taking chances. I'm coming down too. I don't want you to lose them again. Like you can see
everybody
what the pressure is on Henriksen to make this thing happen, and then for the cops, it doesn't like discount them. And it gives some like actual like humanity and stakes to the things that happen in the episodes, that these aren't just like, it's not like the guy from Night Stalker where you're like, oh, he's a good guy, but he's never going to make it. Like these are, there's some, it adds some stakes. I like the way the episode does it. Because they're not like bumbling like, like, oh no, that's just, they'd never do anything. It's a small town. It would be so easy to play it that way, and they don't. They're fully competent cops being overruled by the feds.
I also like the way that Henriksen like sets up them. There's just like, these are the most dangerous monsters you've ever seen. Like setting up where you're like, oh, I guess from their perspective, they would be the scariest people ever.
Now here's another thing. I know that Henriksen is the one that got the tip. And maybe the local cops kind of helped with the arrest. And we see this in a lot of TV in that. If the feds have jurisdiction, does that apply to just bossing around everyone in a local department? Like, it's not just that it's the FBI's case and they get to use the resources, but he's like bossing the sheriff around.
I don't know if the hierarchy is the same.
I don't know like fully how that works.
FBI trumps cop.
Or if it's like, should that sheriff have been like, listen, we're cooperating here. You don't get to release my prisoner. Put him back in the cell.
Because is it like federal beats like state? Like,
and is it just anyone from a federal agency trumps anyone from a local one? Like, what's the difference between Henriksen as an agent and this guy as a sheriff? He's not just like a beat cop. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't break the episode at all. That's not why I'm bringing it up. But I was like, I wonder like how that works. Like, what is the actual like bureaucratic mechanism of that?
There's that great episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine when the mail
that's right, the USPIS
where he starts talking down to the cops. He's like, we're federal.
We're federal agents.
Like
you're right.
Like there must be some like reality to that.
You're right. That's a good point.
It's so funny. Henriksen tells Sheriff Dodd, look, I get it. You're Mayberry PD.
He's being so condescending.
Mayberry, North Carolina is a fictional small town where folksy Sheriff Andy Taylor and bumbling Deputy Barney Fife were the law and on the Andy Griffiths Show from 1960.
I do like that.
They also list some of their aliases on a Dean Wanted poster you see, which is, I love, oh God, these are so good. So there's Jay Mahagoff. Just incredible. Jerry Garcia, John Smith, and Donald Stump. Great, love them. And as you spoke about, Henriksen phones the FBI deputy director Stephen Groves, who insists on sending a chopper to expedite them, because he's basically like, this is also on him as well, right? He's his agent and a big case, and it looks good on him if they solve this, right? So he's just like, no way, I'm dealing with this.
But I do like how he kind of talks down to Henriksen. It really shows the spot
hierarchy.
Henriksen's in. And it comes back later in the episode, like like how Henriksen views his job and how tough his thing is. Yeah,
absolutely. So Sam and Dean are placed in a small holding cell. Henriksen comes to speak
and
with
like
them.
fully chained together.
Yeah.
And Shakus is like, nope, can't give them like too much freedom at all. Like there's a bit where Sam goes to look out the bars,
Yes.
and Dean goes
Pulls
to sit
Dean,
down,
yeah.
and they're pulled, and then Dean's like, sit down. Instead of just sitting on that side of Dean, they do
Yeah.
this whole twist. Like,
Yes.
they get all like
sit next
tangled
to
up.
each other. So funny.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. Yeah,
So
it's
he
good.
starts speaking. Henriksen starts berating Dean, basically, telling them that they're going to be taken to a maximum security prison. Because Dean's like,
I know Henriksen in this scene says he's thought of everything this time, but if I was Henriksen, I'd already lost them twice.
I wouldn't be making any bold
He's,
claims.
like, come
So
on, man.
confident.
Like, he's going in and be like, y'all gonna rot in prison forever. You're never gonna see each other again. It's like, can you wait until they're in the prison?
My favorite thing is when he walks up and he goes, I'm just trying to think. And they're like, what? And he's like, just trying to think of what I'm going to have for dinner tonight.
Yeah, steak or lobster, surf and turf.
Yeah, why
I got
not do
a lot
both?
to celebrate. It's like, come on, man. This is like
So-
rule number 1.
Yeah.
is don't monologue until the plan is done.
So funny. But there is a great moment because Dean's like responds, he goes, you haven't kept us yet. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to get away. And he goes, oh no, I've thought of everything. He's like, you're going to be taken to a maximum security prison.
Before your trial.
yeah,
You're going to be held there pre-trial. So you don't even get that time.
And
to
that is
escape.
the last time that you will ever see each other again. Which is like, that is the scary thing for them. Because together they feel like they can do anything. But if they've been pulled apart,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'll never see my brother again. So it's like, one, the thing that he is terrified about.
Yeah.
It's the way that they get out of everything is together. So it actually is scary. And they change their tune very quickly.
Oh, man. The fact that we never got a Fast and Furious crossover.
The car thing,
What's a Toretto without family? That's what F9's all about.
Oh my god, so good. So, but it's funny. So when Henriksen tells Sam and Dean that they're going to be sent to a supermax prison in Nevada until trial, there actually is no supermax prison in Nevada.
Oh, really?
There is, however, a supermax prison in Florence, Colorado, less than 60 miles from where this episode actually takes place. So,
Oh, Henriksen.
you fucking
Oh,
idiot! You were lost
Henriksen.
before you even started.
It's just a casino in Vegas
Yeah.
called Supermax. We're going to put you in a cell they call the penthouse suite. I imagine it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's just the actual penthouse suite. It's like, damn it.
You won't believe what happens in solitary confinement.
Oh, did I say solitary? No, it's a solitaire.
Yeah.
There's a solitaire table. It's a-
Yeah.
I love that so much.
So,
Every time I hear Supermax, I know it's an actual type of prison.
yes.
Every time I hear Supermax, I think about that, like, it's like 15 years old now. The Green Arrow movie that never happened. It was going to be called Escape from Supermax, and it was going to be like Green Arrow in a prison trying to get out.
Oh, yeah.
Which, doesn't that sound fucking dope?
That I don't even
Just
like
fighting like
Green Arrow, but that sounds
fighting
great.
a bunch of supervillains trying
Yeah.
to get out of a prison.
Yeah, I don't even like Green Arrow, and that sounds great.
Oh God.
So good.
Yeah.
So Groves arrive in the chopper.
That's the deputy director.
Yes,
yeah.
that's right. Insisting Henriksen fill out copious amounts of paperwork. He has a great line where he's just like, "We perfected bureaucracy."
He said we didn't invent bureaucracy, we perfected it.
Yes.
I mean, the FBI is called the Bureau.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of real fun stuff in that line.
Definitely. And then Groves goes to visit Sam and Dean in the holding cell, and immediately reveals that he is.
And shoots Dean in
Yeah.
the shoulder.
Yeah.
And Sam has to sort of like wrestle the
Gun out
gun
of his
from
hand.
him like through the bars. And then we get the reveal that he's a demon.
Yeah, he's possessed by a demon.
And so Sam, I mean, this is where it's a good thing Sam's a fucking nerd.
yes.
Sam, without reference materials or anything,
Yeah.
does an exorcism. He knows the incantation or whatever.
This is the first time in the entire show
That he does it without something.
Yeah, that's right.
I was wondering about that. And it's also like, an exorcism feels like a thing that isn't very like action-y.
Yeah.
You know, because it's words, it's
Yeah,
ritual, it's
yeah.
that sort of stuff. But the way they play this scene where he's like wrestling the gun,
Yeah.
he's got him through the bars, and he's like, so like, you know, many paths, he's
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
it so
yeah.
fast. I'm like, man, this exorcism's like exciting. It's pretty good.
There's another moment coming soon, which is they do another thing that like pays off in this episode is they've learned from the lessons throughout the seasons.
Yes.
This is one of them, which is they've had a bunch of moments where if they don't have the reference material or something, or the book gets broken,
need to learn that shit.
they're gonna fuck up exorcism. So now they've learned it from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Which is a really great moment. So it's like, oh yeah, remember before when like Dean fumbled with it or he tried to do it without remembering it?
That's true.
So they've got it down pat now. So
very, very cool.
Yeah. But the exorcism is cut short when the demon vacates the host. And the last thing he says too, he's like, get ready, it's gonna be a long night. Which, oh god,
so scary.
Yeah. I'm so stoked for that. So
and, everyone like runs in because they and they're like,
Grove's dead on the floor.
Like, Dean got shot.
Yeah.
We didn't kill him. He's been dead for weeks. And they're like, what? And he's like, he's possessed. He's like, oh yeah, all right,
fucking
sure.
with this bullshit.
Yeah.
But they're confused by the lack of blood.
Yeah, there's no blood. The guy's just cold and dead. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but the only thing they can believe is that Sam and Dean didn't shoot him because there's no bullet wounds, there's no blood, and there's nothing, right? Though they still do not believe their explanation that he was possessed. Yeah. So FBI agent Calvin Reedy goes outside to find out what happened to the rest of the officers in the chopper, because they're like...
Yeah, because they're not radioing or whatever, and he goes outside and...
they're all dead.
They're all dead.
Throats slashed.
It's crazy.
Yeah, which is already like, fuck. And that's a terrifying moment.
And then one of them gets up.
Yeah.
Great like makeup work with the slash throat and shit on this helicopter guy.
Yeah.
And then you just hear like he like gets reedy. And Henriksen is like, he's like, these whatever's happening out there, because the sheriff is like, my men are out there. Like
the chopper explodes.
The chopper explodes. He's like, my men are out there. Your guy's out there. Why aren't we going out? And Henriksen just has his movie. He's like, you idiot. This is a fucking siege.
Yeah. And whether he believes that it's threats coming for Sam and Dean or their people coming.
His initial thing is like, this.
People are coming to save you.
Sam and Dean have gotten out of stuff before. Yeah. This is another one of that.
Yeah. So, but he realizes no matter what, they're under siege and convinces them all to stay inside and barricade the doors.
Lock the doors, lock the windows, get the weapons. This is a siege.
And that's when
because like the phone's cut.
Yeah.
They can't call out. There's no internet. There's nothing.
And then the electricity goes off.
Yeah.
All that remain inside now are Nancy Fitzgerald, the secretary.
Right.
Sheriff Melvin Dodd, Deputy Phil Amici, Henriksen, and Sam and Dean.
Yeah.
Amici Garcia's character, Nancy Fitzgerald, is a religious employee. The secretary. She's like, she's posed as being like super religious. She's got a cross. She's very like,
she's got like a rosary and stuff too.
She's afraid of the devil because she believes in his existence. Ironically, after almost 9 years. Amici Garcia will again play a religious woman who will work for the police and deal with the devil in another popular fantasy series, Lucifer.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know what's... Oh, no, I can't actually talk about it. I saw another Supernatural big
character,
big alum from Supernatural on a clip from Lucifer.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, it means WB, so it's all the same sort of universe.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sam attempts to patch up Dean's bullet wound.
Yeah.
Henriksen comes in to the cell and confronts them, assuming that the siege is being carried out by their allies and unwilling to believe otherwise. Shortly after Henriksen leaves, Nancy comes to the cell because they're basically like, Sam and Dean are like, what the fuck are we going to do?
We're stuck in here.
And Sam claims that he's got a plan.
We're stuck in here.
Yeah.
The power is out. Dean has already said like, well, that can't be good. They know that like the place is under siege because of Henriksen. But they know it's demons because the demon was like,
revealed itself. Yeah. So Sam says he's got a plan and manages to convince the secretary to come bring them a clean towel to dress Dean's wound.
Yeah, and she does.
When she hands it over, Sam grabs her wrists and steals the rosary from it.
Yeah, but it just looks like Sam's like grabbing her. The deputy comes in and goes like, you touch her again, I will shoot you not in the arm.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Dean's like, what the fuck is that? And Sam reveals that he stole the rosary. Yeah. So you see they're trying to supernaturally arm themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So later, the sheriff unlocks their cell and comes in, and he's keen to get everybody out of the station into safety.
Yeah.
But Henricksen interrupts and suddenly just fucking murks the sheriff.
Just shoots the sheriff in the head.
Yeah.
He's like, nobody's going anywhere.
Yeah. Sam and Dean manage to get a hold of Henricksen and start exercising him.
They put his face in the toilet where Sam has put the rosary to make
holy water.
We call it prison holy water.
So they basically like
let's just say it's better than prison body of Christ.
Oh God. But they fully exorcise Henricksen.
They do. And now this is a moment where Henricksen is like, I killed the sheriff.
And Dean
says, but you didn't shoot the deputy. And Sam immediately looks at him like, now?
Really? Like, if you aren't aware, these are
so funny.
These are
so
lyrics.
funny in such a not funny episode.
No. These are lyrics to a Bob Marley song, I Shot the Sheriff. So fucking funny.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, this is another moment of them.
But now Henricksen, like, people have seen, like, Nancy and the other deputy or whatever, I think I've seen the smoke leave.
Yes.
And
Can't
now
explain
Henricksen
that.
is like, and they were like, you were possessed. And he's like possessed. And now Henricksen is like,
fuck.
Okay, holy shit. You guys weren't bullshitting me.
I mean, the with the quickness that, it's believable, but the quickness in which he's like, well, I guess demons are real.
I mean, you can only do that because he's experienced it,
yes.
right? Like, even if it was just him seeing it, I think you'd have to play it a little different. But because it happened to him, and so you're like...
Well, and he's a badass, too. So
he's also got the memory of it. So you're like,
Yeah.
okay, so he was in there as it was happening.
Yeah.
Couldn't stop it. It was like, yeah, it's pretty... It's good. They play it really well, and they play like his kind of fear of it, and that sort of thing where it's like, it's the Javert thing where it's like, my whole life I believed in this one thing, and now it's like, now I got to go throw myself off a bridge.
It's so crazy.
It's like literally, this is his Javert moment where he's like,
oh yeah, this challenges everything that I know.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
You know how Supernatural's a lot like Les Mis.
Their cell number is 2814.
The demon's eyes, they are so black.
I was like, where are you going? You're not land that ship. So he releases Sam and Dean, and it's like, what are we gonna fucking do? They're like, salt the windows and doors.
Salt along the windows.
Any more?
No, sorry.
Okay.
That was empty chairs and empty tables. If anyone was wondering.
It's empty cells and
yeah, that's good.
And open handcuffs.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Demon of the house. Did an exorcism in the toilet.
I dream of demons gone by.
I deemed a demon.
Any more?
No, that's
okay.
good.
So they put salt barriers on the windows and doors, and Sam paints the devil's traps at entry points.
Yeah, so like Sam and Dean are kind of giving them like the crash course, and like this is what we got to do. This is how it's going to work. So the
sheriff like grabs one of the deputies grabs like a shotgun, and he's like, yeah, I don't know what you're going to do with that. But.
Yeah. The sheriff's like,
we got an arsenal.
He's like, we're an arsenal here. He's like, buddy,
it's not.
You just watched a cloud of smoke fly out of this guy.
Yeah, like you're fucking way out of your depth here.
Dean goes out to the car, to the impound lot out back.
Yeah.
To get stuff out of the trunk, and while he's out there, he sees the biggest cloud of demons.
Yeah,
we haven't seen a demon cloud like this
since the ending of season 2.
End of season 2 / beginning of season 3. Yeah, exactly. Big demon cloud with like purple lightning. And shit. It's pretty good effect, actually. I dig it. And Dean kind of has like a shit, and like runs back inside, closes the door, does the salt,
and the cloud like presses up against the building,
and against the windows. Like Nancy's looking at a window, and the cloud like hits it, and yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the demons are possessing all of the locals in the town, about 30 of them.
Yeah, because the next time they look outside, it's not the cloud anymore.
Yeah.
It's just all these like kind of black-eyed just standing there. Some of them are corpses like Helicopter Guy.
Yeah.
And some of them are just other locals.
Inside, Dean starts passing out protective charms that will prevent them and the others from being possessed.
Because that's the other piece. It's almost like the night shifter thing where it's like we have to make sure one of us isn't.
That's right.
Yeah.
But Salmon revealed that they don't need charms themselves because they've learned a lesson and they both have matching tattoos.
This isn't the first time we've seen
yes,
that
it
tattoo,
is
it?
It is.
I felt like we saw it already.
No, man. This is the first time that the anti-possession tattoos are revealed because they even do like a bit of like exposition. They're like, we won't have that happen again. And
I guess you're right because I guess after the last time Sam got possessed, they got charms.
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, this is the first time.
Oh, man.
Very famous tattoos that like the fan base
everybody has.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're gonna get a supernatural tattoo. Obviously, you're gonna get this,
of course.
So, a big sort of another like learn like canon thing where they're like, oh shit, this happens. Well, we got to fix that problem.
Interesting.
Love it. So while they wait and arm up inside, Dean and Henriksen discuss their respective lives, and they have a lot in common.
Well, this is the bit that I was talking about. So, you know, we saw that kind of external pressure and stuff on Henriksen, and in this scene, he talks about like, man, like I've worked 15 years to go after a handful of big, you know, fugitives or whatever. And I might catch them, and I might save a couple of people, and that's the payoff. And to know that this is out there, and that like literally every time I've been on your trail, you've been saving more lives in that day than I have in years. He's
on the wrong side.
He's just like, what am I doing? Like,
God, I would love to see a what if comic if Henriksen becomes a hunter after this. Wouldn't that be so good? He'd make such a good hunter.
Oh God. Yeah.
That's the dream.
Yeah. I really like that.
Like, there's a great moment because he like Dean's even like, "What? You get back home, white picket fence?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I've got a string of ex-wives," and like,
because that's the other thing. He's like, he's ruined his life as much as the guys have, but
nothing to show for.
But he's like, what do I have to show for it? Like, you guys have
saved.
We
people.
can conservatively count more saved lives than I have. So what are we doing? Like, what am I doing here?
It's so crazy. It's a great moment, right?
Yeah, and
not so different, you and
I. Well, I mean, it is that scene, but they do a good job of not just making it like, it's just like a, like, holy shit. It's Dean is just kind of present for this revelation. It's not the both of them being like, Dean's not also like, and I get cops now.
Yeah,
like it's not.
No,
it's just Dean being like present and a sounding board for this like crazy epiphany for Henriksen.
I love it. It's exactly what you want to happen to Henriksen.
Yeah.
The whole time you're just like, God, if this guy only knew.
Yeah.
And he does now. And I love that. That's exactly the moment that you've been waiting for. Just as that happens, Ruby shows up.
Yeah.
Able to get through a salt line damaged unwittingly by the deputy. I think you see a quick shot of like the deputy pouring salt or something and his like elbow hits it or something.
He fucks it up. Yeah. She gets in.
So she tells them that the demons are from a character we haven't heard of yet.
Yes.
Lilith. Sam's demonic rival from the West. What's interesting, though, is like up to this point, this is a thing that I'm not sure of if it's referencing the same character, but in previous episodes, we kept hearing about somebody who's unhappy with...
Yeah.
But they kept referring to a man.
No.
Because they kept saying he. No. I very specifically like paid attention to it. It says he. They say he. He's really doesn't like you. They never say she.
Really?
Yeah. Go back and listen. I promise you. Because it's a thing that I've been acknowledging, being like, well, then is this that same person or is this somebody else?
Oh.
Because are they referring to
that at all.
Are they referring to somebody that we'll get in a later season who?
Oh,
that's why I wonder if because they specifically say from the West, so maybe they're referring to a different person. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
But she tries to convince Sam that the solution is a spell that she's aware of that will vaporize all the demons within the radius, including herself.
And she's so pissed about it. She's like, "You motherfuckers are gonna make me ice myself."
Yeah. And they're like, okay, fine. Like, what's the spell? And they're like, we just need a virgin.
Yeah, and then
Well, they say that we need someone with virtue, and Dean's like, I got all the virtue. What are you talking about? He's like, no, like a virgin.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, no one's a virgin.
and then Nancy's like, I am, and Dean's like, you never put in a
Yeah.
like Dean can't comprehend that anyone has elected not to have sex.
He almost says, even not even by accident. Like that's the like he's like they're going around, like not even just like. So funny.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's a choice.
and this is Dean's Javert moment where he was like, I live my life believing something, and
I dreamed the dream of Poon gone by.
master of the poon.
Richie.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Richie's back.
You say
baby.
master of the Poon enough times and Richie will show up.
Yeah, like Candyman.
But Ruby basically goes, okay, that's great. We've got a virgin.
I'm just gonna rip your heart out now.
Yeah, and she's like, wait, what? And she's like, well, hold on. And Sam and Dean are like, there's no fucking way we're doing this. And they're all
I
arguing.
think it's kind of a relief for Henriksen too to see that Dean and Sam are like, we're not okay with that. And
Yeah.
he's like, okay, thank God.
Good. They aren't monsters. Just a second double check. That's great to hear.
Just
And
making sure.
and that's when the secretary basically goes like, well, hold on, like I'll speak. It's my body. Like
And
I'll
she-
make a choice.
And she's like, will it save the people outside?
Yeah.
And Ruby says, if their bodies are fine,
Yeah.
yes.
But Sam and Dean's like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah,
we're
no,
not doing that.
Absolutely not. And Henriksen says like some version of like, we don't trade lives. That makes us as bad as them.
Yeah. And Sam is even kind of like, maybe this is the only choice.
Well, because Ruby looks to Sam, goes like, Sam.
and he's like, you can see him being like, well, I guess this is the only choice. And that's why Dean freaks out and he's just like,
But this is sort of the part of the episode where the episode gets its name from. We're talking about the rules of war, or
Yeah.
the way you choose to conduct yourself in
Yeah.
war. And Sam, well, Dean specifically has a very clear line: we do not do this. And Ruby, multiple times in this episode, says, "Do you guys know how to fight a war?
yeah,
This there's
there's sacrifices.
You can't fight if you're dead."
Yeah.
Like Ruby is making the argument of the like, yeah, it sucks, but it's also the way out.
It's the trolley car. Like,
It's that she's doing that exactly. Yeah. And so this is where the episode gets its name from, is the deciding how you conduct yourself in
Yeah.
these scenarios, right?
exactly. So Dean says, there's no way. And Sam's like, well, do you have a plan? He's like, I don't have a good plan, but I've got a plan.
Yes.
And he's like, we're just going to fight everybody.
Yeah. Dean's plan is essentially
Yeah.
that they are going to
Let them all in.
they're going to let them all in and then trap them inside
Yeah.
and exercise them.
Yeah. And so, I mean, basically after this is just that montage. Like,
Yeah, so I mean, Ruby leaves.
she's just like, fuck you guys. You're an idiot.
She's like, I'm leaving. Anyone want to stop me? Nobody does.
Yeah. There's a great shot of her. Like, she gets outside and she's like, who wants to go?
Yeah.
And they all just like, sort of slightly move to the side so she can get past.
Yeah. So what basically they get all their stuff prepped and everything, and then the deputy and Nancy go to the roof.
Yes.
And then without the demons.
Yeah.
And then on like their mark or whatever, Dean and Henriksen and Sam break the devil's traps and the salt lines.
Yeah.
And the assault begins.
But they make a devil's trap on the roof, don't they?
no.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, because they need them inside.
Oh, yeah.
So they break the devil's traps,
Yeah. Let them all in.
let them all in.
Oh, that's right.
From the outside, like Nancy and the deputy are watching all these demons run in, and they're
Yeah.
hearing gunshots and that. And Nancy
Oh, yeah.
says, when this is over, I'm going to have so much sex. Looks over and says, but not with you.
Well, because he's like,
Because the deputy's kind of had eyes on her.
Yeah,
He's been trying to.
she's
Yeah.
like, but not with you.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Just make sure we're both clear. Yeah.
Right. You know, if that Dean guy's still alive after
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
might see if he and his brother want to.
So yeah, and they basically just have a kick-ass fight.
So there's this crazy fight, really good fight,
Yeah.
like choreo happening with Henriksen and Sam
Yeah.
and Dean, and all the demons are pouring in. They're shooting them, they're
Yeah.
fighting, and they're doing all sorts of good stuff. It's really, really cool. Once all of the demons are inside and the fight is continuing, then the deputy and Nancy climb down, close the doors, and salt the outsides of everything.
Yeah, so they're
to
locked
keep them to keep the demons in.
We're not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with us.
Basically.
Yeah.
And then Sam or Henriksen or someone hits the internal PA system, and they have a recording of Sam doing the exorcism incantation.
Great idea.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But again, we've talked about it before. This is what I like on Supernatural, where it's like, oh, salt stops them, put it in a gun.
Yeah.
And then this is like why just have
one person?
If it's the words of the exorcism,
just record them.
And also, like, do we even have to say it live?
Yeah.
They just have to hear them.
Yeah.
So it's like, I love the
ingenuity.
It's the thing that I like, John putting the rosary in the water tank and turning the sprinklers into a holy water thing.
It's like, how would you think of what ingenuity? It's like
a mystic MacGyver kind of thing that I really enjoy. And so they're doing this like mass exorcism, which works. In the big swirly cloud, catches fire. They all go back to hell.
That's right. Yeah,
it's crazy. One demon gets out, though.
Yes.
One demon gets out and does not kill the deputy.
Yeah. Just looks at him and then
looks
runs.
at him and just runs, goes.
Yeah. So when the demons were exorcised, they gather in the ceiling of the police station and explode.
Yeah.
As opposed to going to hell, as was seen in other exorcism.
Yeah.
This effect never has been seen before and will never be seen ever again. It's a weird way to sort of do it. I'm guessing it's just because there was a ceiling, it's easier to collect it all and disperse. But
it's probably easier for visual effects because there's less things to work around, like desks and papers and whatnot.
But it's never used ever again.
Yeah, that's true.
So in the aftermath, Henriksen promises Sam and Dean that he's going to lie about what happened.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have a good lie, but I'm going to come up with one in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's like, there was the chopper explosion. I'll just say you were killed in that.
Yeah, they say, like, what are you going to do about us? He said, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
He goes, you guys died in the chopper explosion. Can't even identify your dental.
Exactly.
And there's kind of like a shake hands.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're just like, yes.
It's pretty cool.
It's so cool. And it solves the problem of the police coming after them. And
I do love that thing of just and now these people know. Now they have to figure out how they move forward with this.
I always love that moment where it's like, oh shit, now more people know about monsters. Like what's the repercussions of that?
Yeah.
So pleased with the outcome, Sam and Dean leave. Not long after, a small girl comes to the police station.
Yeah, and says, I'm looking for two brothers. One's tall and one's cute. And Nancy kind of laughs and goes, that's very funny. What's your name? And the kid says Lilith, and her eyes go white, and she holds up her hand, and this big blinding light happens.
Destroys the building and kills everyone in it, including Nancy and Henriksen.
Yeah, which we find out because Ruby goes to the motel where the guys are and says, turn on the news, and they see that everyone inside is dead. Everyone they saved is dead. And Ruby goes, so it turns out my idea actually saved more lives, you fucking idiots. So how about next time, you assholes who don't know what you're doing, listen to me.
Yeah. And that's the end of the episode.
And that's it. Sam and Dean just have to realize that all of that effort
was for nothing.
It did nothing.
Yeah. Everyone had died. There was no point to it. Crazy.
And
Lilith is fucking around, and she is powerful
and a terrifying child.
Yeah, which is awful.
Yeah.
God, what an ending. What an episode.
Crazy.
What do you think?
I mean, this episode is so goddamn good.
I remember I kept waiting for you to get to this episode because I was like, oh, fuck, he's going to love this episode.
This episode and Night Shifter were like, oh, fuck.
Because it's brings real world sort of repercussions onto them and Supernatural slam together. Because it's typically with Supernatural, it's look, Supernatural stuff happens behind everyone's backs.
Yes.
And there's no repercussions in the real world. And how does the real world doesn't have to deal with it? So it could exist in your real life.
Yeah.
And then it's these episodes where it's what happens when
because even after
real life
even
reacts.
The thing on the news, it's not we can't explain this. They go we think it was a gas leak.
Yeah,
and you're no.
Yeah. But it's what happens when it's it affects people on a bigger scale.
Let's start first off with the casting in this episode. Obviously, Henriksen's amazing.
Fucking
so
love
good.
Him. Yeah.
Love him. Sad that he dies.
Yeah.
We get Ruby in here. We get a little bit of Bella. We get the two guys. Kind of our four mains for this season.
Yeah.
Also, Nancy, the deputy, and the sheriff are really good in this episode.
Yeah.
Everyone is really, really solid in this episode. The guy that plays the deputy director.
Yeah.
The possessed deputy director.
Great.
Very good.
Yeah.
Casting top notch on this episode.
Always.
Really, really solid. The fight stuff.
Great.
Great fight choreo. Really exciting stuff. Exciting set pieces. Even the smaller stuff. Like with the deputy director and fighting and the sort of quick action exorcism.
Yeah.
Like there's cool
high energy
stuff. The
huge
the
tension.
fight with Henricksen and the exorcism with the prison holy water. Like all of that stuff is really, really well executed. The sort of the threat level, the palpable threat of like, it's like 6 normies against 30 demons. What do we do is huge.
Yeah.
The idea that it's like whatever is happening is coming to a head. All those demons that came out of hell.
Yeah.
There are 30 of them here. So it's like they're organizing, they're grouping. We're not just like hundreds of demons off doing our own demon shit.
They're in a war.
It's a war. They're being led. They don't like Sam. This shit is happening. We get a little bit of decent tension with Sam and Dean that isn't about Dean's deal.
Yeah.
And it's that Sam didn't mention that there's this rival.
Yeah.
I like that element. Ruby's great in this. You know, Ruby is fighting for them because she does kind of remember what it's like to be human, but she is still a demon. She's like, if you need to kill someone to stop this thing, you do it.
Yeah.
She's got this very kind of cutthroat approach to fighting this war, and you can see Sam going like, is it worth it to win?
Well, even as like a viewer, you're like, is that the right choice? Like,
yeah, I mean,
she makes a pretty convincing like,
and that's the I mean, it's good. It's a good opportunity for Dean to show that Dean is not just like a hardhead, badass, you know, win at all costs.
Yeah,
he's like, no, there's actually some costs you don't win at.
Yeah.
And I think that's strong. Everything in this episode is great. Visual effects are awesome. The makeup for all those like slash throat, like helicopter cops or whatever, that stuff's great. Yeah, I mean the episode leaves you in such a terrifying place of like, even when they win, they've lost. This Lilith character is so powerful. What the fuck are they going to do?
Great introduction for Lilith.
Amazing character introductions. Just so good. I mean, this episode is an undeniable 5 for me. I'm giving this 5 toilet rosaries.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I God, what a fucking back-to-back like episodes. Like,
I mean, we've talked about this a bunch. Season 3 is fucking jam-packed.
Especially the back half.
There are great seasons of Supernatural generally to come.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But season 3, I think I forgot how much of this was season 3 and not seasons 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck, this is all now? Wild. Kind of sad for Henricksen that he gets the Gordon thing of like 3 eps and out kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. Like, that's part of the stakes of the show and shit. At least it's not just only women characters that get killed off.
Yeah. It's the ones of color too.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, damn it.
I know. Yeah, this is another one of my favorite episodes of the entire series. Ones that I'm like, it's a perfect episode. Like
it's really good.
It's that great like repercussions sort of thing where I love that Supernatural is so good at, which is like, if this then that. It's always like, oh, you've thought of a potential issue, don't worry, they'll deal with it.
Right.
It's one of my favorite things of people when they first watch the show. It's like, but does this mean? Yes, it does, and more.
Yeah.
Like it's the thing that they keep building up to where it's like, how can you jump the shark more than, oh my God, the FBI is after you. Well, you can't deal with that. What if they like finally capture you? Don't worry, they'll deal with that. Like it just and you're like, well, I can't keep building more. Now it's like the most powerful demons after them. Well, they can't get bigger than that. It's like they just constantly are like, oh, we'll ratchet it up and it'll work still.
Yeah.
it's crazy how much they're able to do that in ways that you're like, well, that's the biggest possible like monster. It's like, well, don't worry, we'll figure out a different way to make it bigger.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and it's one of those examples of just like, oh, there's repercussions, and we'll handle it gracefully and still keep going, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like we won't have to like there's one lull in the entire series, in the entire series.
Yeah.
There's only one lull, and even that is still good if it was another season. It's just the show is so good.
Yeah, it's true.
We'll get there eventually, but it's crazy that they're constantly being like, and then this.
Insane.
I love it so much. I can't believe it. So yeah, I mean, without a doubt, this is 100% a 5 like 5 virgins out of a possible 5.
All right.
I love this episode so much.
It's incredible.
And it's just like, wow, it doesn't get better after this, right? And it's like, oh my God, there's still so many good episodes.
It's wild to, like, you talked about it before we started recording, but the shift between last episode and this episode, like, tonally, but also the shift between this episode and next episode.
It's a whiplash.
Next episode is our self-titled album.
I can't believe it.
And that's a totally different type of episode from this one, too. Great in its own way.
Can't believe it.
Wild.
God, the show rules.
It really does. We should do a podcast about, oh
my God, are we in the last episode again? All right, well, that is it for this week. How much did you love this episode? Is this one of your favorites?
Yeah. Or if it's not, tell us why.
Oh my God, yeah. Prove to me why this isn't a good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dare you.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, you won't last 10 seconds trying to convince me.
Why is it always the fucking porn ads?
You can do that through our email.
Ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com.
Or have chats with us about Supernatural on our social medias.
Yeah, at GhostfacersPod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And of course, don't forget to subscribe so that you can get every episode automatically in your feed every week. And while you're there, why don't you give us a 5-star review?
Yeah, hit us up.
Want those? We'll read those reviews on the episodes. All you have to do is, if it's not through Apple Podcasts or something like Facebook, make sure you send us a screen grab and DM us. Slide into those DMs. Give me your photos.
You won't last 10 seconds of these DMs.
God, you're disgusting. Grow up. And if you want to show the whole world how much you love our show, why don't you buy some merch?
Cha-ching.
Ghostfacers Podcast Store.com, baby. Love it.
Yeah.
We're so good at this.
Yeah, we're great.
We got merch. Speaking of things that are less good, but still quality, our other podcast.
Our award-winning podcast.
Yeah, somehow that one's got more prestige than this one.
Yeah, it's the Dr. DC podcast where we basically do this, but with comic books.
In reverse.
We talk about DC Comics.
We flip the script and the doctor's the expert.
That's right. And we answer questions from listeners. You don't need to know anything about superheroes, but it's the same stuff we like talking about here. Like, how does the lore work of, like, if you can fly, then what does that mean?
But also demons and, like,
there's supernatural stuff, demons and magic and wizards and witches and vampires.
Yeah.
That shit all exists.
Yeah, baby.
In DC, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely. All right, that is end of this episode.
That is end of this episode.
Say goodbye, bitch.
Sure.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.